back to another episode of Recovery Life. My name is Latoya, and we're back. Today we have a special guest all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Say hello.
Hello, how are you?
Tell the viewers a little bit about who you are and what you stand for.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Pemberton, and a little bit about me is that I'm from Philadelphia. I'm actually born and raised here in New London, Connecticut, and I actually live in Philadelphia now. I moved to Philadelphia in 2009 to assist in helping raise my daughter and my son, who is now 24 and serving in the armed forces in California, and my daughter, who is 20 years old, who's attending nursing school in Philadelphia. I work myself as a certified peer specialist for Northwestern Human Services, which is integrated social services.
Tell me a little bit about what a peer specialist does.
A peer specialist is that I work with other peers and I talk about and discuss like shared experiences. I work for an organization called Northwestern Human Services, which is an integrated behavioral health organization, a nonprofit organization, and we work with members suffering from intellectual disabilities, mental illness, drug addiction, and who are living in a community-based program in their own apartments, and we go out and service them. I'm a mobile peer specialist. That means that I'm out in the field and servicing them in their homes and helping them cope with life's difficulties and discomfort.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So,
Yeah.
what is it that you have to do for yourself to deal with such situations like that? Because that's giving. It's a lot of giving of yourself.
Well, what's real important for me is that I'm in recovery myself, recovery-based program and a 12-step program. I have 12 years and 10 months clean myself from all substances. And so self-care is very important, especially when you're servicing and sacrificing and doing service to a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to maintain your own sanity. And how I do that is, I attend the 12-step program, I make meetings, I believe in sponsorship, I have a lot of other community resources that I use. I use church, I read a lot, my physical health is very important to me, so I stay engaged.
So that's a lot of stuff that you do, and so how do you manage your time? How do you handle time management? Because that's a lot you just said. It's a whole.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. Some days I feel like really overwhelmed, like there's not enough time in the day, for me to do all the things that I really would like to do. My morning starts, I work a 8 to 4:30 job, 9 to 5. The hours are flexible because of the position, kind of the work that I do. Mm-hmm. So my day typically starts at 5:30 a.m. I'm up in the morning and attending to my physical part, I'm praying, my meditation, and I run in the morning, which is huge. My physical health is real important to me. I'm an athlete. So I really believe in that part. It gets me grounded. I get in touch, with my higher power, with God. And, I journal in the morning, and I just get based.
So I want to put you in a hypothetical situation, and you tell me how you would handle it. So a young man, 22 years old, your peer specialist, he's dual diagnosed, and his parents just found out that he has a addiction to pain pills,
right.
And she's asking you for advice or suggestions. What would that conversation look like?
Well, usually how we are introduced to members who either are dual diagnosed or dealing with mental illness or drug addiction, and if a parent, it's unusual that a parent would actually come to me personally, mm-hmm. because most of our members are referred to us through an outside agency resource. But so that has never actually happened to me, a parent coming up to me and asking me that. But just from knowing what I do, mm-hmm. and if a parent would to ask me with that, I would connect them to an outside community resource, to another agency or facility that could better help them. I'll give them suggestions just based on the work that I do.
Now I'm going to jump over a little bit. Tell me what your suggestion would be to someone who just came into recovery and they have about 6 months clean and they have absolutely no position on where their life is going.
Right.
What would that conversation look like?
Make a meeting, get help.
that what you were telling me?
What I would do is I would share my lived experience.
Okay.
You know, being in the same situation, identifying, you know, where they're at in their life right now. And you know, based on what I did when I came into recovery, when I was using drugs, and I had, you know, fortunately for me, I had a family support system. You know what I mean? When I did ask for help, and I had people around me who had been through a drug addiction or another a mental illness or struggle, and they directed me, to a community resource, either an outpatient or a recovery resource or a 12-step program, and just reach out, just continually reach out for help.
So, you have a lot of clean time, so you've seen a lot of people obviously come into the process of recovery. What do you see as some of the difficulties people are faced with more so than not?
Speaking from my personal experience, and one of the difficulties that I had to deal with, which I can identify other people, is dealing with the past. You know, dealing with our wreckage, you know, from our past. You know, and according to, you know, to how we came in, where we came from, you know, our background, our childhood, how we were raised, you know, and just the losses, the losses. You know, and it just builds and builds and builds, and just trying to recover from that and deal with that, in and of itself, it's a struggle. You know, on top of the psychological part, you know, the mental part, the spiritual part, the emptiness, the voids. You know, it's overwhelming what you have to deal with. So you have to, I know for me, build like a tremendous support system. You know, you got to get involved and surround yourself with people who are going through the same thing that you're going through. You got to get in the middle of the herd. That's what I was told, to get in the middle of the herd and surround myself, build a network, and continually keep showing up and make meetings, and do the hardest thing for me, which was to raise my hand, you know, and ask for help. We have to ask for help.
So, 12 years ago, let's just go 12, even though I know it's more than that. Tell me what a day would be like 12 years ago.
12 years ago, man. Wow. And it was right here in New London, and I was making 12-step meetings. I had just came back, you know, from South Carolina. You know, my daughter was in first grade. I think my son was in fourth grade. And the devastation, you know, from my drug addiction and the losses were tremendous. You know, we lost, everything. So coming back to New London from South Carolina, making that transition and living with my mother, you know, in her house with my son, my daughter, you know, my kid's mom and my sister, a house full of us, you know, a 24-hour day for me was getting up in the morning and wanting to get out the house and get to a meeting, a 12-step meeting, and just stay around, you know, other addicts going through the same similar thing, just getting for help, and then looking for work, and just dealing with the frustration, the hurt, the pain, the hopelessness. A 24-hour period to me was just tremendous, and just building a relationship, you know, with a sponsor, and like, you know, getting in touch with God, and you know, you start looking for ways to fill the void and the emptiness. And what can I do today so I can just get through today? You know, and sometimes it was just getting through an hour, you know, and it just kept building and building and building, I got involved, you know, I got involved in the meetings, you know, I got involved with, you know, making coffee. I got involved with showing up, you know, early and helping set up the meeting. I got involved because it was filling a void and emptiness inside me. You know, it was helping me deal with the pain. The pain was tremendous, the devastation. And I still, like, talking about it right now, I can actually still feel the remnants of, you know, the residue of that pain, you know, and the loss, and not being, you know, that father that, you know, that I knew that I could be, that I wasn't because of my drug addiction. Tremendous.
So when you know, I also am in recovery as well, and I know that for myself, I have to make sure that I'm spiritually balanced, and I have to make sure that my mental health is stable, and I have to make sure that I do self-care, because there comes to a point where you break. There's a breaking point when you don't take care of yourself, especially when you're in a field like us where you're helping people all the time.
Right.
What does that day look like when you say, okay, you need to take a break?
I've been showing up. I'm proud of this fact right here that the network, my family support, my mother, my brothers, I just have a tremendous network. I'm a celebrity, in my family. That's just how I feel. You know what I mean? And like um, the support that I have, you know, that I get from my family really helps me, with that area, in that area. And I'm just sitting here and the question that you just asked me, it just left me when cause I started thinking about my mom and them, how they were there for me. So, and I just forgot the question that you just asked me that fast.
I asked you, what do you do for self-care?
Oh, and again, for my self-care, I just continue, since I've been here, I've been continually showing up. I didn't stop. Some people take breaks, in recovery, it's just too much, I can't do it, I'm making meetings every day. I've never stopped in 12 years and 10 months from showing up. I've got involved, I did step work. I'm a sponsor, network, I got involved. I had to be doing something. At the end of the day, I had to feel like I accomplished something. At the end of the day, when I lay down and go, I had to feel I did something worthwhile today. I participated in my life today. I helped someone else today. I'm in service. I've been doing human service work for 12 to 15 years. So I've always been in this mode of helping people and being around people and seeing people just coming back and struggling and being there, the sacrifice. It's when you're a parent and then you recover and you're sponsoring people and you're a parent and there are sacrifices that you have to make. There's things that you have to do.
Tell me about some of the sacrifices.
Oh man.
Just a few.
Wow. The biggest sacrifice for me, I'm gonna tell you, one of them is the financial. My living. You know what I mean? Time spent, because time spending with somebody is time is money. It's very important for me to give my time to you, because it's something, for me to give my time and to you or to someone, to helping someone else, it's time that I can be spent doing something else to improve the quality of my life. And the sacrifice is that, okay, I need to be over here. This is, I believe, whatever I'm doing is where God has me. This is what I need to be doing. This is where I'm at. And guess when it's time for me to be over here, I've always wanted to continue my education and move forward. And I've always had to make the sacrifice where I can't afford that right now financially, because you know why? Because of my records from my past, because of the mistakes I made, I can't afford to do it now the way I want to, because I had to be there for my daughter. And then, the other stuff that we have to maintain, living,
right.
Bills, utilities, car, food, keep the lights on, responsibilities. But I like to detail them out. I let people, that's what we do. We keep the lights on, we keep food. I want to be able to go into my refrigerator and eat. I don't want to open the refrigerator anymore and just see some water in there, or just an empty refrigerator with no food. I don't ever want to experience that ever again. Never.
So tell me how different your today is. If you had to look back on one horrific day in your today, what would you say the main thing that you see the difference is?
The main thing today is that when I wake up today, I have hope. I have hope. That's the biggest piece, is that when I wake up today, when I wake up in the morning, when I pray in the morning, when I ask God, just look, whatever your way is, your will, whatever you need for me to do today, just allow me to do it. Just allow me to do it, show me how to do it. Just give me a sign, a voice, a whisper, a slap in the head, you know what I mean? Another, coming from another person, another place, another thing, but, allow me to pay attention, to pay attention and to focus and refocus constantly. So compared to my other days when I wasn't in that state of waking up and not caring, I've been there 12 years and 10 months, and before that I had 14 months. Prior to that, I was here 6 years. So being in recovery, now, I had experience from before, and before I didn't care. I didn't care. Today I care. I have responsibilities today. I have people who depend on me today. My daughter depends on me. My son depends on me. They come to me. They look for me. They have questions about school and life, and I need to be able to be there for them.
So I love that you just said that. You know, people depend on you now. How does that feel that when you know that people depend on you and you're able to actually show up today?
I can't describe it.
Try it for me.
It's like a joy. It's something on the inside, like an accomplishment. Like it's like huge. It just feels huge. You want to scream. You want to shout. You want to just like look. I was like to yourself, like just go into this room, like just me. Like for me, my sanctuary sometimes is in my car. Close the doors and I just scream. I did it. I was able to be there for my daughter. I was there for her 16th, her 16th birthday. It's a big thing. Her 21st birthday party's coming up on December 19th. I'm going to be there. It's important for her to have me there. And as a father, too, I want her party to be like MTV, huge, the whole, everything. And, I'm just not in that position. And we had that conversation with my daughter, and she said, Dad, just the simple fact, that you're clean, and that you're here now, I know that you've always been there. And I know that if you could do it, you would. If you could give it to me, you would. So that means a lot. So the joy that I get from being able to be there, for my mom, that's huge. And I live in Philadelphia, so I don't get to see her as much. We talk on the phone. So when I do, come back to town to visit, when I go over to the house, when I stay with her, I just try to just do stuff to help her out. Like, I don't need, to ask me to do anything. I look around, see something needs to be done today because of the program, because of the 12 steps I'm involved in, and because of God and stuff. I just do it. I don't have to be told. I try to be responsible. So again, it takes me right back to the end of the day. When I lay down, go to sleep, I want to go to sleep knowing that, I did the best that I could today. Because when it's not like that every day, but for the most part, that's how it is.
What does a day look like when you feel stagnant? Because I know for a person like yourself who's always going, always has to be doing something for it to feel productive. Yeah. What does that feel like when you don't accomplish what you set out to?
Wow. I feel hopeless, I feel useless, and I feel powerless. I feel inadequate as a man, as a father, as a friend, as a partner in a relationship, as a co-worker. My self-esteem and self-worth seem to come into my life and follow me around, and try to dictate my words, my conversation, my behavior, my attitude, 'cause that's what my addiction is, in my personality, it's in my characters,
Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the addiction outside of the addiction. What would you say some of the defects that you're faced with daily that you still work on consistently? Character defects.
Yeah. My pride, my ego, my low self-esteem, my arrogance, sometimes being a little bit too overly confident, but self-loathing, like hating myself, or not thinking that that I'm good enough, that what I'm doing, is good enough. Not believing, not having enough faith in myself. You know what I mean? Not having enough faith in my higher power. Not having enough faith in what I can't see. Not what I can see, but what I can't see. But because I can't see it, or because it's not happening the way it should be happening for me, I don't want to believe it. I need to see tangible evidence, something right in front of me that's going to work out. So that sometimes is a defect, a big defect for me. So I have to really focus and really pray and really stay connected. It's so important for me.
I have to say, I have a respect for your recovery. I think that you have a lot to offer, and I hear a lot of really wonderful things about you, and that says a lot about a person. So when you're helping people to get better, or to be a part of your life. I've had the opportunity to hear sometimes when you're talking to people and you're reaching out and you're helping and you're happy to be doing that, because it's not work for you. It's a natural thing for you to actually reach out and help. What is that like? I describe how I see it. How is it for you?
It's kind of like when I'm servicing, if I'm helping somebody, if I'm giving back, this is my foundation. See, my foundation, what I stand on, and what I believe is based on honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, faith, trust, based on courage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's based on humility, you know what I mean, compassion, you know, integrity, I mean, self-acceptance. And that's what I stand on. That's what I believe. You know, personal responsibility, support, self-support, self-advocating for myself, advocating for others. You know, that's what I believe. So when I'm standing on that, right, and that's where I'm coming from. That's where my decisions coming from. That's where my conversation is coming from. You know, so when I'm helping other people and I see that they're receiving it, it's a joy that, again, it goes inside. Like, you know, you feel a part of. You know, like your purpose. Like, okay, you're being directed to your purpose. Oh, that's my purpose. Because your purpose or the situations keep changing, and so doesn't the purpose. And so you're just trying to you keep redefining and keep looking for it and oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because there's been a lot of times where I'm not sure, like, what I'm supposed to be doing, or who I'm supposed to be helping, or where I'm supposed to be at, or who I'm supposed to be with. You know, in my life, you know, what is it that, you know, that ongoing, continuous search. Mm-hmm. So, and like I've been doing like human service work now for like I said, 12 to 15 years. This is what I've been doing. So this is obvious, you know, if I'm paying attention to the direction of God, and you know, in my spirituality, this is where I do good. This is where I'm good at. This is where I'm good. When I'm helping out somebody else, this is where I'm good. But I also need to be also in a place to understand that I need to help myself also. That's where that self-care, again, just come back to self-care.
And that's what I was asking you a little earlier. How do you know when that time comes? Like, what are the tell signs when you have to halt and take care of you?
When on my emotional, mm-hmm. when I start feeling worn down, when I start feeling overwhelmed, when I start having tremendous feelings and bouts of sadness, or depression, mm-hmm. or self-pity, you know, oh, it's just not gonna work out. I don't feel like getting up, going to work today, or I don't feel like helping my daughter today. I don't want to answer any questions today, or I don't want to have a conversation today, or I don't want to service my members today, or I'm not 100%, I'm 50%. Those are the external signs. But you know, some of the internal stuff that goes on, the warning signs to me, is like, you know, that immediate hopelessness and depression, that depressed feeling, that depressed state. You know, not that I walk around depressed, you know, all day, because I know how to get out of it because I have experience. Mm-hmm. You know, I know how to get out. You know, I'm not going to stay trapped in depression all day long because I don't know what can happen, but I know that it's not going to be good.
So how do you turn those days around? What is it that you do? Like for me, I gotta meditate. I gotta, right. I have to take some quiet time for myself, right. and separate myself, and so that I'm just not continuing in that funk that I'm in.
Right.
So what do you do to take yourself out of that emotion?
Right. And like I have a toolbox. You know, I have a toolbox, and I have some tools in my toolbox, you know, that I use, and one of them is being self-honest with myself. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things, again, like when I start my day off in the morning, getting in touch with the reality, my reality, where I'm at, how I'm living, what I have right now, what it is I want to change. You know what I mean? Knowing that it's not always going to be like that. You know what I mean? I use my tools. I pray, I run, I stay physically active, I engage other people. Like one of the big things is when I'm feeling a certain way about myself, the best way to help me get out of that is to help somebody else. Be in service, go to work, talk to my director, you know what I mean? Talk to my program coordinator, and go to work and deal with my members, have a shared lived experience, listen to someone else, and not think that it's always about me, because sometimes when I get depressed or get down or hurting or in pain, and you're talking to me, I hear you, but I don't hear you because right now I'm the one in pain. It's always about me.
Right.
So during those times, I'm aware of that, and awareness is the key. I'm so aware, acutely aware of when I'm feeling a certain way, and I'm so self-centered where I don't care what you're saying. Because the voices say, don't listen to what they're saying. It's unimportant what they're going through. What's important right now is what you're feeling.
Right.
And I got to get out the way. I really got to get out the way. And sometimes it's as simple as saying, God help me. Just help me.
So tell me this, we're going to be closing soon. Tell me what hope looks like.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. What hope looks like? Your hope is like going to bed at night. Check this out. My uncle, when I was young, growing up, I never knew what this meant until I got older. My uncle, Stanley, used to say this. He said, it's a good feeling going to bed at night in some crystal clean white sheets, right? So when I go to bed at night, my sheets are clean. I mean, that's what hope feels like. You know what I mean? It feels refreshing. It feels clean. Mm-hmm. It's hopeful. Like I wake up in the morning, and look forward to going to work. I look forward to having conversations. I look forward to know what God's going to bring me today. I look forward to like the challenges, dealing with any kind of discomfort, any kind of like self-defeating behaviors, attitudes, or voices that might want to intrude, because I call them the intruders. They're always intruding, always have something to say. That's the disease of addiction. Always has something to say negative. I don't care how good it looks on the outside, on the inside, the disease always has something to say negative, pessimistic, just down. So like hope for me is getting up, being able to travel to Philadelphia to see my mother and my woman, my future, and like smile and receive love. Like just that gracious, grateful, it's indescribable. It's undescribable sometimes. Like what does hope look like, man? Like hope looks like me right now.
I like that answer.
Hope looks like me right now. I'm hopeful. You know what I'm saying?
You're a funny guy. So tell me this. So tell me what love looks like to you.
Ooh, love looks like me right now.
I'm not playing with you.
No.
Tell me what that looks like.
It looks like compassion. It looks like loving and caring. It looks like getting outside yourself and doing something for somebody else. Love is like the highest spiritual principle. I mean, and when you're feeling love, and to keep it, in order for me to keep love, I got to give it away. To keep anything I have to give it away. So, man, love it. And sometimes, I can try to describe it, or I think that people try to describe what love looks like. Love looks like me having a conversation with you right now, looking into your eyes and smiling, and seeing the beautiful woman that you are sitting over there. That's love, because I love you.
Love you.
I love you very much. So, I don't know if they know it, but we are in
You're
a loving,
funny right now.
caring relationship. It's my future right there.
A God-fearing.
God-fearing, loving, and
bring God
caring.
into
That's right.
everything that we do and we say to each other.
Yeah.
And that's why we are who we are.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for coming here today.
We're all done?
We're all done.
Well,
I want to. Don't say nothing crazy.
I'm not gonna say nothing crazy. I know that we on. You know what?
Tell me.
See, my director back in Philadelphia, because sometimes they know that sometimes they say